Do you ever feel like you're chasing the perfect plan, but you never make any real progress? I struggled with perfectionism for a while, and I want to go through in this video on how I broke free of that and made some real growth. You know, I always had this belief that I had to spend hours and hours and weeks and months on something to become an expert at it before I can even start doing anything else really. If it's, you know, starting a business, starting a website, something like that, I always thought I had to know every little thing before taking the action and actually starting it. But you know, if you want everything to be perfect, you're always going to be dissatisfied and unmotivated. Because if it's not perfect, you won't even start. So some of the signs of perfectionism are, you know, the urge to tweak and perfect everything before actually doing something with it. Avoiding action until things feel ready. You know, giving up after a little setback or like a little roadblock. And the final one is like comparing yourself with other people doing a similar thing to you and just thinking you're not good enough. So I want to talk about some mindset shifts you can do to break free of this. So the first one is just to set action-based goals, right? So don't just say, okay, I need to lose weight. You need to define the goal. You need to understand like what it requires to lose this weight. How much weight do you want to lose? Things like that. So start by saying, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps every day, or I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. And then you also have to outline what you're going to do in the gym and what you're going to eat, these things. You have to set an actionable goal, and that will actually be a realistic thing rather than like an ideal result. The second one is, you know, embrace good enough. Like, for example, starting this YouTube channel. I recorded my first video for the first time I was speaking to camera. So I had never spoken to camera for the first time, and I just recorded and I uploaded it, and it was fine. And it was actually way better than I expected. I didn't learn how to speak to a camera, do like a challenge, you know, and if you are really awkward, then maybe you need to do some sort of like daily camera challenge. But for me, I just started and I learned on the go, and it's the fastest way to learn. With everything I've done, I've always just like, well, recently I've just started and learn as I go along. So the third one is like track streaks and not perfection. So basically just track your progress on what you're making, and if you track it week by week, then you'll be able to see some growth rather than being like, oh, you know, it's not perfect, it's not exactly where I want to be. You'll be able to see the small progress towards the goal that you have. So I want to speak about briefly before the fourth point is, if you do struggle with this perfectionism and not starting and not just working towards your goals in a systematic way, I have a website, thepillars.life, and on this website I do coaching one-on-one with people, which basically means that I'm able to find out what your problem is, and then within 90 days we'll work with each other to resolve that problem and to become that person you need to be in 90 days. And if you're interested in that, just have a look at my website and then book a call if it's something that interests you. Yeah, so I'll go on to the fourth point. It's reframing mistakes as learning. So, you know, if you make a mistake, if you fail, then just take it as a learning experience. Don't think too much. Don't think it's like, oh, it's not meant to be. Just think potentially, okay, that didn't work, I'm going to try something else. Like, you just have to take everything as learning. It's really, really important for making like imperfect progress. Fifth, obviously, limit your comparisons. Don't compare with other people. Don't compare with someone who's like 150,000 followers on social media if you're doing social media. Don't compare a pro athlete if you're, you know, learning football. Don't compare yourself. Just be in the present with who you are as a person, and just track the progress you're making, and you'll be able to see that you're improving. And yeah, just celebrate the small wins. Like when you go at the end of the week and you're like, okay, I did this and this and this and I made this progress, celebrate it. Make sure that you reward yourself for making progress, and then it will feel not as tedious, because it takes a long time to make real change, and perfectionism is going to take forever because you're never going to have something that's perfect. But with, you know, imperfect action, it will take time. But as long as you track it, as long as you can see how you're doing, you'll be able to see some real progress. But yeah, a good example, you know, is my story, like I briefly mentioned earlier. I wanted to start YouTube, but I didn't want to. I knew I wasn't able to speak to camera very well. I knew I hadn't done any of that stuff before, but I took imperfect action. I started anyway. Day one, first video, then I committed to making a video every day, and every day my camera presence improved, my conviction improved, things like that. And I didn't even know what I wanted to do at the start. Like, I was thinking of, you know, just documenting my journey, talking about what I did in my day, you know, learning some front-end web development. Like, I sort of jumped from idea and idea until I got onto this mindset mindset thing because I've always wanted to help people, and this is something where I can help people right now, and I have the time to do it. I have the time to invest into people. So right now that's what I can do, and that's what I enjoy. But maybe if I didn't even start, I wouldn't have even figured out what I wanted. Before, I was doing something completely different, and I was obviously working on my own mindset and my own discipline, and that's why I'm doing this today. But that was just something for me. It wasn't something that I was sharing with, anyone but friends. So I took the imperfect action. I created this channel. I've just started, but it's making real good progress. I really enjoy it, and it's a perfect example. It's a perfect example of just start and then see where it goes from there. So yeah, some tools that you can use, you can use calendars, you can use to-do lists, you can use habit trackers. Grit is a really good app for habit tracking, and you can just use these tools to get an understanding of the action that you are taking. Just start taking the action. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Figure out maybe what you have to do, and then you'll do it, and then it's like, oh, I don't have to do that. I have to do something else. And if you do this, it's so rewarding. It really is rewarding. So if you have that idea and that goal in mind, then just start. So yeah, thanks for watching this. If you do have any questions for me directly, as this is YouTube, it's kind of hard to communicate, just feel free to follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message on there. The Instagram is in my description. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the call, I have my website, thepillars.life, for one-on-one coaching, which I can directly help with the perfectionism. So if that's something that interests you, check out my website, book a call with me, and we can discuss that. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.